Mama Yembisa, a security expert, what he makes of the video and the steps which have been taken so far, and the expectation that action will be taken against this officer if the military police have taken over the matter. Mr. Kote Emmanuel, ending commander pay, na engineer thoughts or a security expert on this matter. Mr. Kote, good morning.
Sammy Pacho, good morning and happy new year to you, your listeners, and your panelists.
Of any happy new year to you too, sir. My name is Unyako Pardon to be added.
Oh, Namidi chair no pay.
They are saying. Of any video ye of an officer na wo shoot ANC more as the reports indicate, who initially at the time na arrest na embaye. What was running through your mind?
In fact, me who video no. Me to anamu efe me danfo for omo security personnel, omo responsible senior security personnel, and they were utter shock. And to me, I would say incidents like this are quite unfortunate, and it shows the kind of people we recruit into our security services. Because a properly trained professional will never do what we witnessed in the video. And you see, security personnel will have to be cautious. We are in the era of technology, and Ghanaians are more vigilant. Any listing you do, you may not know a third party is taking a video of it. And you may wonder why one will capture the action as it took place when he came out with a gun and started firing, whether it was a friend who took that to show off or not. But two things comes into the fore. So, as some say, bar, not yet talk shop, cases are less action. But the unfortunate thing is, politicization of our security institutions has a very bearing effect on the things we are witnessing. Here, the gun the gentleman was holding is a very dangerous weapon. And for the fact that that weapon was in his hand at that time of the night, there are a lot of questions to answer. Not only even in uniform. What do I say? What was he doing with that weapon at that time of the night? And to even go to that extent. Just imagine, say, if you are not Yaribi action or not, Wanya Caesar be an say, Najin Akanukakra, not obtain a weapon way on human beings, and there would have been a lot of casualties. So we have to go back and look at the regime of our security arrangements as to the handling of weapons. And if you look at the regimes, both at the various security services, it's so tight. So sometimes we wonder whether people go to sleep on the job or what. Because if you can only take a weapon when you are going for an operation, and when you return the weapon, you sign out, and you account for the ammunition used. So how did this person manage to beat that security arrangement? So in as much as we are calling for the access to fall on the this irresponsible security officer, we must look at the entire value chain. Those responsible in making sure that these weapons are properly kept, sign in and sign out. They should equally be dealt with. Somebody slept on the job. Don't forget, armed robbery cases are armed robbers no AK-47s no free. Edum Bakashwa said they rented from security personnel. So this impunity must stop. We can't continue in this pageant. In the era we are living in, terrorism hovering around our heads and those things. Someone could learn from what has happened. So, if a security personnel could fire indiscriminately that way in a public place like a shopping mall, then everybody will say, look, if I can get to a crowded place like this, I can shoot and cause the casualty I want to. Onto the person neutral. And mostly the terrorist aim is in as much as they are looking at naming the people to cause an effect, even getting one casualty would have served their purpose. So as I am taking a step back, now she share more, and it will serve as a deterrent such that it never occurs again.
Right.
But if we decide to politicize it, now you're calling a political tangent, you can be sure say as somewhere in question, because intelligence me my say in the seat of government, Jubilee House. And more often than not, those operatives, they tend to live above the law. And that is what their superiorities must check. More often, Oberon say they'll give excuse they are going on a special operation. What special operation? What special operation? If you are working at the seat of government, you must live by the highest professional standard. If this personnel is at the Jubilee House, it means our president is not even safe. It's not even safe. And I am calling that, apart from the officer in question properly dealt with to serve as a deterrent, those responsible for checking and supervising this officer, they must also be dealt with by way of demotion or things like that, so that people will sit up on their jobs.
The point about accountability that you are talking about, say the matter should not end with just this gentleman, this sergeant, flight sergeant, but with the senior officers who were supposed to ensure, say, for instance, weapon, so operation people no kwe oba back no ya to honum ammunition so you see ya were accounted for will not be here. But it reminds me of similar cases where not the army was involved. Yenia Caleb Yakobu Noa, the officer in now were in charge. You see, you had called back to the military free and that investigations was going to go on. Until once in the you will have him saying in the north, a soldier phobia went on rampage. One more boo a man for our Honma videos by and also soldier and penny for a man for natural. But as to disciplinary actions, yadi emomono yanti once in the yenya enemy the see yenya kaka owu ye ekowia ye set up committee of inquiry ye hwehwehwemu ehun sensem ekoba ebusua na anji antum the finance no. Is it about time we demand more openness from the army?
Yo, for me, my some education kakra for the benefit of your chief. OSHA Security Act na both security agencies ever room. Now, if you look at the framers of the Constitution, they were enacted to play complementary roles. Until sometimes say a police focal operation now say the they call for the support of the military. This another thing. That is even why we have this military police. The laws are very clear. The way you would deal with a civil security personnel when he commits such an offense is different from civilians like me and you. Okay, ASP Algozo, accusing of treason. The court released him to the IGP. Okay. So why did the court release him to the IGP? So, I'll call for co-heads. The guy is under military arrest now. He's in military police detention now. And I can tell you that when this guy is under the military detention, what he will even go through will be worse than when if he was in the police cells. What is the mature? Mr. Obia Oko Garum that it's more dehumanizing than being in the police cells. So my colleagues my other colleagues, security analysts say the guy should be released to the police and the civilian action will be taken against him. To the various security acts, and when there are these breaches, the procedure that is in place. Yeah, we have taken democracy as our system of governance, what I say. And the system of governance gives every human being his rights, what I say, until proven otherwise. So let's try Ghana for say. Let us not put emotions into this matter. My young discuss this issue dispassionately, what I say, and hit the points we need to hit, the various institutions that need to work, what I say, then we will get the results. As it stands now, the guy stands being sacked by the military, and he can even face court martials within the military. After that, once those disciplinary actions have been taking place, the police still have the right to take the civil aspect of the case. I had a prosecution, and Usha Amanonia, Obi Bekosi murder. After the convicting of the criminal charges now, convicting you, then the civil charges come up. But from her, once one of the charges go, they are not interested in the other aspect. And that by itself is a threat to our fledgling democracy, because where the law is not seen to be applied fairly, to me, it is justice denied. And you will agree that that is the case. The answer, as a country, and yet the first time incident say, I see. What will motivate is 7 security personnel or officer, because it's a flight sergeant in the army, to bring a weapon to a crowded place on the 31st night like A and C to do some of these things. My investigation has revealed that most of those guys do private duties as bouncers, providing private services as security personnel to wealthy clients. Look at the country today. There will be a wedding, and you see military at the gate directing traffic in Nema, and that's a funeral, and that's it, because the person has money, the person has some form of influence, or the person is politically connected. Acts of this nature are acts of indiscipline. And it is devaluing the army. Share those days, Minia. Unanti no who obi in uniform krano oyemashu. Uwo ajumboni wo utimokra. Now I study. Pastor here, we see the military and we don't even care, because we use them for roles they are not supposed to be involved in. And their faces are too many in the civilian eyes. Look, my young learner from best practice like Amanoni. Amanoni say, hardly will you see the military in town in their uniforms. Like I had the way I hear. Obi feels say because I'm in the military, I'm above the law. Or need you to cry, now I share uniform. Not or difference. We must look at those systems such that is it possible for us to create a system such that when you come to duty, there's a dressing room, you go and dress your uniform, go and take your weapon. When you close from duty, you come back inside and take your civilian clothes, you are out. That by itself, no, it will help intelligence gathering. But what do we see? Even our national security operatives, who say mufti, no kita walkie-talkie, no omu kita you, and they want everybody to see that they are from national security operations. What do we gain from that?
All right.
We must also stop the system of using security personnel to aid fraudsters. Because also Chroma, and this is a personal experience in December, eyewitness in East Lagos. I was just driving, I saw military on the road with pump action guns, with machine guns, no more rolling a unit surrounding a house. Let me say, what? What is going on here? So as a security analyst, I parked my car, and some of the military personnel recognized me and rushed me and said, "Oh, Mr. Kotum, we beg, we are doing some operation here. Your life is in danger, move away." Now, Mr. Two people beat me call, almost share the ekoso ahamami. Miko ba no muko, mi bisa almost operation be no more bear. You know what they came to do?
No.
A fraudster brought in an investor abroad. Do you understand? And brought him to a house, supposedly his office, and military are aiding to defraud such person. Come today and see that house. There's renter on that house today. So we can't be using our security personnel for this kind of operation.
Being
it doesn't dignify us.
Being a security analyst, sir, what you are telling us about the purpose for the military being there said to aid a fraudster, no? This is an account of somebody uja wachimano say one church them. How then do you verify say indeed that was what the military was there for? Because
the signs were there. According to them, when they came, they seized all their phones to be and for picture. So a day operational a house that is an office today, the next day you come for sale or for rent is on the house. A house that is empty and that is for rent. What activity that will be going on there? And this is one of many incidences.
So
for
can it not be said?
For the purpose of our listeners, some personnel take the laws into their own hands. Maybe na down for be na down for in the military. What I say? Not while from then they organize themselves and come and do this thing under the blind eyes of the superiors. And I'm citing this example because the ANC incident, it could probably be that this guy was doing his private business at the blind side of his superiors. So these are the things we need to check. And we can only do this when we put our system in place such that weapons that are taken are properly accounted for. And those responsible for such duties must not renege on shame.
All right.
So in as much as we are calling for this person to be punished, those responsible for making sure say the weapon he was holding was properly accounted for, they should equally be properly be dealt with. That is the point I was just trying to make using the scenario I did.
Mr. Kote, well, thank you for joining us this morning.
Yo, me that's me chat for you now.
Yo, yes,